Hello and welcome to this very first video of me checking out Paintstorm. I just heard about it and bought it yesterday, and from the first impression it's looking very good. I've only been able to test it out for about half an hour, looking at the hotkeys and getting used to the interface. I even managed to load in some reference here, which you do by opening a new file and then activating the reference window like this and selecting the file between all the open files you have. So you have to physically open the file and have it open in a tab. But I think it's nifty. It doesn't clutter up your workspace, but you still have it if you want. You can still zoom and do all things in this reference. Not draw, of course, but that you can do here. So yeah, in this video I'll be covering the first two sections of the brushes in Paintstorm. I've seen a lot of the videos presenting some of the brushes and it looks amazing. So I'll just jump right into it. Let's start. The first one, brush. It's very standard, thick to thin, creating smooth lines. Looks very smooth right off the bat. It's yeah, very standard, very good, nifty brush. We'll just move onward to the next one, which is called Draw Blend Opacity. Yeah, you have the same thickness, but different opacity depending on the stroke, and you also have this blending. So you can get a very good blend with just one brush and good paint. You can, if I change up the colors a little bit, you can easily blend between two colors with just one brush by first adding the color and then blending between. So I will probably spend a lot of time with this brush. It's nifty, powerful. I think it's a reason why they have put it here in the start. You also have Draw Blend. It's seemingly very similar to the previous brush, but the blending works in an entirely other way. It's like some sort of refraction almost. You can see the line across there is getting bent with the brush, but it will create some cool patterns, a bit more dirty than the previous brush. Mixing colors will still work, of course, but you get this more jagged, rough feel of it, as you can see here. Yeah, let's go down to simple extend. So this also quite the same width of the brush stroke all the way, different transparency depending on the stroke. I see the width scales a little bit. You can see here the size in the settings, and yeah, extend instead of the draw blend. It looks like the extend is more of a, yeah, it just drags the color that I have where I start, and just completely ignores the other line almost. and goes more follows the opacity of my brush stroke as of how the color will be set. Even though it passes dark areas, you see it takes quite a while before it turns into the color. So if I add this 100% opacity here, and then just with one smooth or barely touching the tablets, you can see it goes way into the field. Let's try mixing this up with another color. Yeah, you can see it blends in an entirely other way than the previous one, but it's a more forceful way of blending, and that's the reason why they called it extend, I guess. Then we have the classic transparency. Let's see. Yeah, it's from 0 to 100% transparency, quite ordinary brush. Most likely close to the hard round brush in Photoshop, with the opacity set to pen pressure. So yeah, it will probably be used quite regularly. Simple soft, yeah, standard airbrush. Or I've heard they don't have that airbrush build up that you can see in other painting programs, while you can just hold the airbrush or hold the pressure and it will add on the airbrush, but you have to actually move the cursor and apply pressure for the color to be added. I saw a suggestion in the forum which Paintstorm guys commented on that they will most probably fix it. So, yeah, for the general purpose of an airbrush, like many people use it, it works great. Yeah, just to know, I've remapped a couple of the hotkeys for this program just to get into the hotkeys I'm used to from Photoshop. It was quite simple actually to fix all the special short keys, like holding Alt and right clicking to change the size, and also the quick zoom with holding set and just clicking and moving the mouse to zoom. Compared to other drawing programs like Carita, I had a hard time setting up those hotkeys to work the way I like it. Yeah, so I mapped caps lock to toggle layer transparency. I think that seemed quite logical. So now I can just draw and with the airbrush and don't think about background. So I can add this brighter tone. I did, however, not find a suitable hotkey for the quick color changer in Photoshop, where you get to open a color picker right in the menu. So that's why I'm using this palette. You also have this very powerful mixer, which is more like the Coral Painter mixer, and these gradient tools, they're quite handy. I can select the color. Let's see this dark orange, hold shift and apply it to one of the corners, and it will create a nifty gradient between the colors I've chosen. So if I would like some purple, I can add that here, and you see it mixes with other colors. Let's see, just black in that corner, Yeah, and then I click without holding shift on any of these colors, and I get it picked on the color picker, and I can just start painting it in. And getting darker hues as I move down toward black. Actually, it didn't seem to... yeah, there. So that's cool. Next up, it's the sketch brush. Remove the transparency toggling again. Yeah, very thin, almost pencil-like. I guess there's no jagged edges. It's a very technical brush, sketching. You have a lower opacity, higher opacity, and a bit thinner. Of course, I can increase the size, and it will be an entirely other brush. I can see it actually is affected by the underlying colors. That's a little bit cool for a sketch brush. This is a bit special. I would think it would be all black all the time, but if I hold the opacity lower enough, you can see it blends with the colors. So this is a great brush for filling in larger areas with some mixed colors, or just with more technical sketching. Remove all my clutter here. Let's see, going to black again, reducing the size, and just have a very ordinary sketch brush. Cool. Moving on, I'm going to create a new layer for the next three because they look so special. Hiding this one. Just clicking on demo. I guess these are probably just demos, just to show how powerful this brush editor actually is. As you can see, it's like nothing I've ever seen in a drawing application before. There's so many things going on with this brush that I have no idea how to use it in any logical way other than just creating random doubles like this. I can see that this gradient is probably the source of this color. I won't go very much into this brush editor in this video, but I'll just test this out, trying out some other colors. Let's try this one. Yeah, as you can see, it changes. So probably to create some randomness in an image, you could add a cool gradient with the color setup you want. Let's say I want this very moody, it looks like some sunset, sunrise colors almost, and just dabble it in if you want. Yeah, I see this brush will be quite hard to use for any good drawing purposes actually. This next demo brush, let's see what it does. Yeah, it's also quite random, not quite as random. I can see some uses of this, creating some fancy art. If you can change the colors, I guess you could create some sort of plant-like things. But again, very special brush. Let's see, let's jump down to Demarest Tree. For me, this one looks like the most practical one of these three demo brushes. You have there's almost yeah, it's full of sass. If you know that programming language, they have some sort of yeah, that's not good at all. SAS logo in pink. You get these lines. It almost looks like paint being struck out on a canvas. Again, I guess the color is created from this gradient, so you could actually have some more, yeah, darker values into this gradient. And okay, let's try this one. Yeah, here, and an entirely brush right off the bat. Creating cool effects. I can see this brush could be used for drawing. A lot more possibilities with this brush than these two. I'd say. And if you just if you are creative enough with the gradients and other settings here, I guess this brush could really shine in some ways. Nice. Some sort of masterpiece here. Okay, creating a new layer again. I bound that to the function 1 key. It feels okay for me to have that on F1 when there's not a help option opening like in Photoshop on F1. Let's see, going to the pencil brushes now. Starting with the pencil textured, which I guess is more like a 4B pencil, creating texture. Yeah, 100% opacity to very low. Great for people that wants to have some texture right off the bat. If it's some sketch. Yeah. Overall, very standard brush. Let's see if there's some. Oh, it affects or it just adds on top. It's no blending here. So compared to the sketch brush from the brushes that we saw, this one will be more of a traditional pencil brush. This next one, pencil hard. Yeah, I can tell the difference right away. Now I'm actually pressing, yeah, just medium on my tablet, creating almost no paint at all. You can see it very roughly here, and then when I add pressure, of course it gets more visible. But yeah, you just have a harder type of pencil here. Again, quite standard. Pencil grain. Let's see. Yeah, more or less like the first one, but a bit more texture, as you can see here. It also seems to jump up from thinner thickness more quickly. I can almost not draw thin lines at all here. But that's okay, this looks like a nifty brush. And then we have two that seems a bit weird to be put in the pencil category, gradient marker. Yeah, I can see the color changing, but not that much. Let's see if I change this to red and the other to blue. Yeah, now you get the effect more, much more visible. When I barely press, I get my primary color here, the blue one, and if I press hard, it goes to the red one, and everything in between is a mix. Very nifty if you have, let's say, a warm color here, and just stick with a warm but darker, and just, okay, nope, I didn't get the correct colors there. Orange, and then darker. Okay, so the first color isn't actually that orange. It's very desaturated, very low value, so you don't get that orange feel with the brown black one. Yeah, disrupting the brightness in the orange there. If I paint it on a darker background, it seems to work more. So I can dabble a little bit with low opacity to create this orange, and then add pressure to get the brown again. And if I change those colors up, I use the hotkey X for this, like in Photoshop. I start with the brown, which almost looks like the orange, and then I get the orange when I press down. I can see multiple occasions where this is nifty. I want to try this one on, oops, that's let's see, a square. And then filling this with dark gray, and then getting back the color setup I had and testing again. Okay, let's test purple and then orange. Let's see, yeah, the color is much more visible with a darker background when I use it on a white. For some reason there. Yeah, the pink one actually works better. Let's see if I get this one again. Yeah, this doesn't look very brown because it's so dark, I guess. And then I add pressure to get orange. Let's see here. Yeah, you have much more. It almost looks orange when I barely press. And then add it. So you can see, I guess this brush is most powerful if I have a blend between two colors, it seems, because this is almost achievable with one brush. One entirely other brush, that is. Let's see. It's a bit too bright. Green to white, it's not that. Green to orange. Green, orange. Yeah, here we go. This is nice. I'd say this is a powerful brush. I will try to implement it in my drawing style somehow. Yeah, nice, cool. Moving on, the pressure gradient. It's yeah, it's the same brush, but with a thin to thick setting as well. It creates very cool colors. It has a more it has 100% opacity compared to this one, which is yeah, more like a build-up brush. If I had the same colors, orange, brown, selecting the orange as the background color. Yeah, these two, this one and this one are the same color setup. If I barely press here, I still get this brownish color, but very thin opacity. And then I press harder, and it gets into the same orange. So these two brushes will have a lot of different usage because they're not, even though they look the same right off the bat, they are very different to use. Let's try black and orange. Yeah, creating very cool effects. Almost looks like it's just burning up my drawing there. I like this brush. Yeah. Well, that actually concludes this video. It's my very first time recording my own voice since I was very young, so I hope it's okay. There's other people sleeping in the house, so I guess I'm a little cautious of using too much of my voice. So yeah, as I said, I hope it was okay. Thank you for watching. I'll continue the series with the other brushes, testing them out, giving my quick thoughts on the process. Yeah, thank you for watching.